One question I get asked a lot as a professor is where do I find the weights to big indexes like the S&P 500? And this can particularly come into play if I'm, want to use Bloomberg and maybe I don't have licenses for these indexes for the S&P 500, particularly if I'm running a student managed investment fund. So I need something to compare my portfolio against a benchmark. Where do I find these weights? You can look on the internet and find some basic weights like, you know, the top 10 holdings, but it's hard to find the weights of every single stock. So what about for other indexes as well? The Russell 2000, the S&P 400, the MSCI World. Where do you go? Well, one place you can go is you can go find them on the internet themselves when you look up exchange traded funds. So for example, there's a lot of ETFs that track these big indexes. S&P 500 ETF. Okay, if I just Google that, I come up and I already get SPY. All right, that's SSGA's spider that tracks the S&P 500. And I get the iShares IVV, and this tracks the S&P 500 as well. So let's just open the IVV and let's see what we get here. So we get to their website, and the beautiful thing is they've got to publish their weights. As an ETF provider, they do publish their holdings and their weights. And so if I scroll down just a little bit here, I get to the holdings part. This is holdings. And if I get down a little bit farther, I see detailed holdings and analytics. So let's open that and see what we get. Okay, now here it is. So this popped up, and this is the IVV holdings as of February 2nd, 2025. And so I can open up the market value, the notional, the quantity. The quantity is going to be the shares, all be exactly proportional to the underlying S&P 500. So for example, let's just look at what's the value of this fund. If I just want to do equals, what I can do is hit equals sum product, and I'm going to multiply all the shares, the quantity, and I'm going to skip that last one because it looks like they got a little bit of cash in there. So let's skip that, and I'm going to hit a comma there, comma, and then I'm going to grab the prices, which are right here, and go all the way up. And that's probably going to be just one off there. So now I do the close parentheses, and then I hit enter, and let's just go up here. Let's put it in regular notation here. So the fund itself, the IVV fund, is worth $644 billion. So right there, I've got everything I need. I've got tickers, I've got weights, I've got shares for the ETF. I can upload all that stuff into Bloomberg if I want to using the PRTU function. I do have another video out there that shows you exactly how to do that. If I actually want the actual shares for the S&P 500, the only way I can do that is I need to figure out what's the market capitalization of the S&P 500. Once I figure that out, I can use the ratio between that and the value of the BlackRock iShares fund to come up with a scaling factor and scale up my weights by that scaling factor. So I can do that. Let me just show you. Let's do SP 500. Let's just Google total value. It says $43 trillion. However, that says of January 2024. I'm in February 2025, so that is dated. Let's pull up. Let's keep going down a little bit farther. I can actually go into this website right here, S&P 500. What I want to do is I want to click on data. So if I click on data, and if I scroll down just a little bit, it tells me the weighting methodology is cap weighted, float adjusted. Okay, I move down just a little bit here, and I find that there's 53, and this is going to be $53 trillion in market capitalization. So let me just grab this, hit Control C, go over back to my Excel spreadsheet. Now this is expressed in millions of dollars. So in other words, it's not 53 million, it's 53 trillion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this number by 3 zeros and another 3 zeros by trillion. I'm going to put that in regular notation, so hit a comma there. And now that's 53.7 trillion. So as of February 2025, that is the market cap of the S&P 500. So what I want to do is create a scaling factor. So I'm going to take this number and divide it by this number. That's the value of the BlackRock iShares, IVV. So if I multiply every single share that I have in this fund by 83.39, that will give me very, very close approximation of the actual shares in the S&P 500 index. So I'm just going to use this column. Well, I'll go over one more. So what I'm going to do is just hit this scaling number, and I'm always going to use that scalar. So I'm going to highlight it and hit F4. Okay, so that puts a $sign in front of each number. Hit enter. And then what I'm actually going to do is actually multiply that by the quantity. So that's the shares. I'm going to drag these down like that, and I'm going to put a comma. And these are the actual shares of the S&P 500. Now, it's going to be off by a little bit. It's just going to be noise. So, maybe it's not exactly 53.709 trillion. Maybe it's off a day, or maybe this is off a day. So but it's going to be really, really close. And I can prove that to you. If I just take these shares here, and I'm just going to multiply these by Apple's share price, which is right here, 237. That's Apple's share price. You get $3.5 trillion right there. That's Apple. And Apple's market capitalization as of February 2025 is right around 3.5 trillion. So that is an accurate estimate of the actual shares in the S&P 500. And I've done it for all, as you can see, all 500 stocks. So that's pretty cool. Now, once you get this, you can go into Bloomberg. Previously, I have created a video in Bloomberg that covers the PRTU function. And so this is just a screenshot of Bloomberg in PRTU, and you can create a portfolio. And what you would do is you would have your tickers and shares, and all you do is highlight all of that stuff, and you drag it over and you stick it right in there. So there's another video, just follow that one on my site if you want to extend this to the next step and show you how to upload these custom portfolios into Bloomberg. And that's how it's done. Now, there's a lot of indexes out there from Vanguard, from S&P, from SSGA, from iShares, BlackRock, other ETF providers like Invesco. There's tons of them out there that track different indexes. So the S&P 500, you can use IVV or SPY. Those holdings are out there. S&P 400, you can grab MDY or IJH from BlackRock. That's out there. Russell 2000, you can use IWM or VTWO from Vanguard, MSCI World, URTH from BlackRock. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. You can find this stuff. You have access to the weights. You just got to do a little bit of your own work behind the scenes, and then it's no problem. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, because this is where I make finance fun for students. Thank you.